Hello everyone, my name is Natalie Ledwell and this is the Inspiration Show, and today I have a very special guest with me that's actually going to be sharing with us how we can solve any problem and how we can live a life of passion, of time, money and freedom as well. So let me please introduce you to my special guest, Tina Dietz. How are you, Tina?
I'm great, Natalie. How are you?
I am absolutely fantastic. Now, I want you to share your story with our viewers because you actually live a life of complete freedom. Even though you're married with children, you actually get to travel the world and do some really cool stuff. So why don't you start a little bit about your background and how you got into the work that you're doing?
Sure. Like anybody, it wasn't a straight line, that's for sure. It's still not a straight line, but I actually grew up inside of my parents' business, and I started answering phones when I was 4 and going to trade shows when I was 6, but I never really wanted to own my own business. I wanted to be in the helping professions, and I became a therapist. But every time when I got out into the working world, every time I had a job, I ended up wanting to create something special, something new, and sometimes that went over really well, and sometimes it didn't. And I ended up starting not-for-profit agencies for teen leadership and working in higher education and program development. But ultimately, I got drawn back to my own roots in developing a family business called the Nyada Institute of Massage. And that's where I really discovered that it was possible to build what now is commonly being called a lifestyle business, where you get to travel, where you get to develop fantastic services for people, plus products, make a difference in the world, but still have this time and money freedom and work from home at the same time. Eventually, as I developed that business with my father, which still exists, people started asking me for my coaching, and I developed and systematized the work that I had done both in the past with the not-for-profits and with the other companies that I had worked with and with our home business, and developed my own system and started coaching people, started coaching entrepreneurs who wanted what I have. And that's how it kind of brought me to this place. So about a year ago, we sold our home, and I have 2 young children, my husband, and we decided that we were going to live a mobile lifestyle, and we moved to Costa Rica. And we lived in Costa Rica for a while. Now we're in Florida. We spent some time in New York and Toronto, and now we're going to be going back to Costa Rica in another month or so. So it's really fun, it's really exciting, and I'm thrilled to be able to give my kids the experience of different cultures and having a lot more time together as a family.
Yeah, that's so awesome. And that's the thing. I think these days that we actually can achieve that time and money freedom, lifestyle. So what advice do you have for people that are maybe in a career or a job at the moment that are looking to get some more of that into their life? What are some of the things that they can do?
Well, usually when somebody's looking to transition out of a job or a career that they don't like, the first thing you really have to deal with is the fear of leaving what we perceive as security.
Yeah.
But we're also living in a world where there really is not a whole lot of job security anymore. And working for yourself, you can create even more security because you are completely in control of your destiny, rather than kind of being at the whim of change or downsizing or outsourcing or whatever the case may be. So I usually tell people, before you start planning for your best case senorio, plan for your worst case scenario. Allow yourself to actually go there. Okay, what would I do if it all went to hell? If everything went kaput, what would I actually do? And once you actually create that worst case scenario, and believe me, most people have to work really, really hard to actually end up in the point where they're living in a cardboard box. Most people have some kind of resources, and there's a lot of resources available. Once you get to know that you actually have that safety net, you know what you would do, then you can set it aside and start to look from another point of view and start to create, what do I really want with my life? What would my perfect day look like? And create a plan from there.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you help a lot of people solve different challenges that they're facing, not just in their business but in their life as well. So what are some of the steps that you take people through to really help them get through these different challenges that they face?
Well, what we can do to help people get through challenges, there's some really concrete stepwise things. Everything we can kind of break down into reliable systems, not big fancy systems, but repeatable processes, repeatable habits. Just like in the work that you do, Natalie, with Mind Movies, you're creating new connections and you're creating these powerful connections in the mind and in the brain. We're doing the same thing. Really, the work actually dovetails very nicely together, by the way, because you're taking what's important in the mind and then you're bringing it out into the world. So problem solving usually starts with getting past the upset and into what your underlying commitment is. Is there some sort of agreement that you had with someone that was broken, so there's an expectation that has been messed up a bit? Is there a communication that you're not expressing to them? Oftentimes the communication is not expressed because we're afraid of starting a conflict, not the opposite. So it usually comes out of a place of consideration. But once you can move past that emotional charge, and I show people a process called ranting, how to do that very, very quickly. It only takes 2 or 3 minutes. Then you can get to your underlying commitment and allow your creativity to come up and your natural problem-solving ability to come up and move through the problem-solving process. The whole thing generally takes only about 10 minutes.
Cool. Okay. All right. So what about someone who, for example, is like, I'm in a job or a career that I'm not really loving right now, but I don't really know what it is that I want. They haven't figured out what they're passionate about yet. Well, yeah. What's a process or something they can do to try and figure out what that is?
Exploration is always the key. Don't leave a secure job without having something that you're probably going to is the ideal situation. Now, most of the things that we're really, really good at are invisible to us because we're taught from a very young age that you have to work hard. You got to work hard at something. But the gifts that we're born with that come naturally to us are often where our gold is, our real contribution and purpose is. So we often have to ask other people. So one of the things I often have people do is to interview the people that know them well. What do you see what my strengths are? What could you see me doing besides what I'm doing now? You can also take strength finder tests and things like that you can find online, or there's a series of books on the topic. And that starts to get your juices flowing about what you're good at. And then you kind of have to find your why. Why do you want to own your business? Is it because it has to be more than making an income? Because if you just want to make money, starting your own business is often not the best way to go. At least not in the first couple of years. Sometimes we refer to those as the ramen years. You can't. But it's a matter of finding something beyond, what is kind of right in front of you, your larger purpose, the legacy you want to leave, whether that's for your children or for the world or both, that's going to help you find a direction where everything kind of matches up together.
Yeah. I agree. I mean, and that's the thing. The thing is that when we actually think about it and evaluate it and look at what we're really good at, and then remember how in much younger years we used to love doing that. Because, a lot of the time we forget that because, like you said, we fall into what we're supposed to be doing, to work hard and to create an income. But we forgot about what it is that we're good at, which is normally very closely correlated to what we love to do. And sometimes it starts to show itself very early in our life, but we don't realize the role that it's going to play for us later in our life as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll speak for myself personally on that. I mean, when I was very young, I wanted to be on Broadway and, sing and dance and perform, and I did all that, and I had training. But when I got into college, I found that it really wasn't a good match for me. I didn't like the lifestyle that was required. But a lot of the skills that I had then are my biggest assets now. Public speaking and self-expression and, showing people how to, connect their passion with what they're good at. That is still a large part of, how I came into this world, singing and dancing, and how I express myself to clients or on a stage or, in front of groups. So most people, pretty much everybody's the same.
Yeah.
We have these gifts. We got to find new ways to use them.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I remember when I was at school, I wanted to be a teacher. And I actually left school when I was 15, and I'm from a very big family, and it was that I finished in year 10, but we all left in year 10 and got jobs and everything. But and I remember my first career was in the fitness industry, where I was an aerobics teacher. And then when I finally got back into this work with mind movies, it's like, oh my God, I'm home. This is exactly where I'm supposed to be. This is what I wanted to be doing, to be really an effective teacher. And I think my why came from this monumental moment of frustration, thinking I've been a student of this information for like 10 years and I still don't get it. I need to have it explained to me in a way that I understand. And so that's kind of what my passion is to help people understand and decipher this law of attraction and personal development information in a way that they can understand and apply it. So, and I can see that that's what you're doing as well. So I know that you've been working and coaching a lot of people. Can you share maybe one of your success stories, someone that you've worked with that's, been able to create an amazing life, of everything that they've wanted?
Oh, one of my favorite, I have a lot of favorite clients, but one of my favorite clients was a massage therapist who had been working for a chiropractor, never owned her own business kind of on her own, and 2 young children, just like me. Husband was a teacher, and she came to me saying that she had this spectacular idea for a business, and she wanted to open her doors in 6 months from nothing. And the first thing I asked her was, what if I were to tell you that it was impossible? And she said, well, I'd be very sad to hear you say that, and then I'd go find another coach who told me it was possible. And that's how I knew that she'd be able to do it. So it happened, She took the coaching, she took it quickly, she did the work, she opened her doors on this brand new facility in 6 months. And it was partially a massage clinic, but more than that, it was the first of its kind in Canada. It's a self-recovery center for athletes, and it's just an incredible place. I was, tickled pink that she did it, but what was really even more important to her and to me was at the same time she grew her support circle and ended up being able to have more self-care and more time with her husband and more time with her kids, even while she was inside of this process. She was even able to create, this a better relationship with the chiropractor's office that she was leaving, and change the relationship from being more of an employee to being a colleague. So it was just very cool all around, and I'm super proud of her.
Yeah. And that's a really important point that you bring up, because, the last thing that we want to do is to leave a secure job with a regular paycheck to just go and buy ourselves a job.
Yes.
Where we're earning more, we're working more hours and earning less money.
Yeah.
So yeah. Which can happen from time to time, and and of course, with all business in the beginning, you've got to work your butt off to get it going. But I love the fact that you get people to forward think about the lifestyle that they want to create, which is really important, because you need to have that balance.
You absolutely do. I mean, most people will create their career or their business, and then their lifestyle's kind of the default, the afterthought. And that's where burnout happens. That's where relationship breakdown happens. That's where all kinds of health issue happens. But if you actually create your life from your perfect day, from this lifestyle you want to live, you can create a plan that's going to fit with that. I mean, it's one of the biggest issues that people have is they get into a profession and they think it's going to go one way, and then they find themselves working 80 hours a week, wanting to have a child, or never seeing their husband or wife or whatever, and it gets very sad. But you really can start, even if you're in that situation though, you can start to make shifts, and it all has to do with getting the support you need, and the mind training, the visioning work, all of that you do with mind movies, and work I do is successful. And there's a lot of support out there. I mean, you and I could probably go on and on about our colleagues and everything that's available to people and get very excited about it. But you just got to start with one thing, one step to make a positive change in your life and let it grow into a snowball.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Tina, thank you so much for joining me today. You've got such an amazing message, and you're helping so many people. Now, I know that you actually have a free gift for our Mind Movers community. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, I have a free ebook and a template, kind of a blueprint for you, and this is one of the key pieces, one of the key tools in my success funnel system. So the book is called Solve Any Problem in 10 Minutes, and yes, I actually mean that. And it really brings together some of the coaching work, some of the way that human beings are designed neurologically, psychologically, into this nice little process that you can go through and use over and over and over again anytime you feel stuck, to get out of the stuckness and into action, solving any problem in about 10 minutes. So it's very exciting. So it's got information in it about, you know, what you're dealing with personally, and also why it's not your fault that you're having a hard time, and then a template on how to move through the process and change it. And I can't wait for people to have that, because, you know, my mission is to create 10,000 thriving businesses. So have at it.
Great. And where can people find that?
You can find that at, let's see, the website is www.solveanyproblemnow.com.
Okay, perfect. Awesome. So thanks again, Tina, for joining me. I really appreciate your time. Now, guys, I encourage you to share this video. You can do that by clicking the Facebook and the Twitter share buttons on this page. I also encourage you to download the app if you haven't done so already, so you can watch the shows on the go. And if you haven't done so already, make sure that you put your email in the box on the page here, because I would love to send you the Manifesting with the Masters video e-course. It's valued at $87, and I'd like to send it to you for free. So until next time, remember to live large, choose courageously, and love without limits. We'll see you soon.